Hello everyone, welcome to Redbus US channel. In this video, we look at the Biden's immigration plan, which was published as a fact sheet on the first day of his presidency. It was called US Citizenship Act of 2021. We will look at it from the perspective of H1B, H4 and employment-based green card scenarios. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel for getting regular updates. So this is what we'll cover. We'll look at the background and then we'll cover each of these topics and the details. At the end, we'll look at if it's possible or not, what is the reality as well. Now, in terms of news, where is this, right? So this is the document that was published as a fact sheet. Currently, you may or may not be able to find this on the White House website because there are some issues with the website. But this is the document that we have at our disposal, and we have a link to this. We have posted it on our blog. You can read this in detail as well. Now, in terms of background, so if you look at all the immigration plan, these are all based on their presidential campaign promises. So immigration was a big part, and they have had all these aspects as part of their immigration plan in the presidential campaign. And so this is actually a US Citizenship Act of 2021 is nothing but their promises to their voters, I would say. So there are many aspects, so we'll briefly touch upon them. The first one is which all of you keep hearing, right? The path to citizenship within a span of 8 years for dreamers or TPS holders. So they'll have like a 5-year period in the beginning, and then they'll vet them, and then it's a process, right? So that's what they're planning to do. So they want to change the family-based immigrations, give in more numbers. They want to increase the diversity visa numbers as well. They want to help refugees by providing programs to help them cope in the society and help them with the citizenship. They want to grow the economy. This is where all the employment-based immigration comes into the picture. They want to protect immigrants from exploitation. So this is regarding where employers actually abuse the immigrants with poor paperwork and everything. So that's that part. So they want to improve the border controls. This is the Trump wall thing that that was there, and they want to replace that with technology. So they want to manage the borders better, like by providing the border agents with resources, training them, and protecting the people in the border actually who are actually stuck up in the border. Crack down on criminal organizations, and address the root cause for migration from Central America. Spend about $4 billion or so. And also improve the process of immigration courts and protect the vulnerable citizens. Lastly, protect the U1T visas and WAV applicants. Again, this is a very, very big ambitious plan on various aspects. We are not going to cover all of these in this video, but we will look at specific things related to H1B and all employment-based related categories and students. Yeah. So firstly, looking at the green card aspects. So the biggest, I would say item on the list is removing per country caps. So this is nothing but more or less the HR 1044 and S386 bills that were being, debated in Senate, and that was circling around House and Senate. So this is going to be a big one for many people stuck in the green card backlog, especially for Indians and Chinese nationals. The second one is, adjusting the green card numbers based on macroeconomic conditions. So currently, if you look at it, it's 140K fixed number of green cards, but they want to give this provision to DHS so that they actually can adjust these numbers based on the green card macroeconomic conditions. So this is a big one. So obviously, they want to clear the visa backlogs. So there is a lot of wait times for, all the various kinds of employment-based green cards. So they want to clear all of these visa backlogs, especially for Indians and Chinese nationals. Recapture unused visas. So technically, if you lose your there is no rollover of employment-based green cards. If you cannot use them, they actually expire technically at the end of the fiscal year. So they want to recapture this in some form or format, so that there is a long processing times for USCIS and everything. They want to address that part here. So they want to also improve the access to green cards for low-wage workers, because green card is given to all sorts of workers, low income, high income. So there are many low-wage workers who are actually not having this advantages, so they want to improve that program. So they want to reduce the lengthy wait times. Basically, this one is related to the backlog as well, and come up with provisions to do this. So then eliminate unnecessary hurdles for employment-based green cards. So they don't specifically give out what these hurdles are, but essentially backlog, all of these things may fall under this. If you look at all of them except the first and the first one, rest of them are very subjective, right? So they're all not really clearly laid out paths of what they want out of it. These are all high-level guidelines that the bill talks about, or the fact sheet talks about what Biden wants to achieve using the immigration plan. It's up to the Congress how they interpret all of these and actually come up with provisions. So we had some bills like HR 1044 that were designed and debated in Senate, debated in the Congress on this, and some amendments were added now and then. So all of the other aspects, nothing has been discussed or in the recent years. So we'll have to see what Congress will come up with in these aspects. Yeah. Now looking at H1B visa quota cap, so they want to incentivize higher wage workers, especially H1B workers, I would say, non-immigrant high skilled workers. This is something similar to wage levels. The whole idea is they don't want high skilled workers being paid low wages and compete with Americans in the labor market. So this is something that Trump tried to do with wage levels changes. So again, but there are no specifics on this, but this is what we are reading when we read that fact sheet, right? This could be something different as well. There is no change in the H1B quota. Obama had plans to change this back in 2013, in the comprehensive immigration reform, but there are no plans now, and there are no plans to change the H1B program. There is no talk about this in the entire fact sheet. So we may or may not see any changes regarding the H1B program. Other big one is EAD for H4 holders and their children, basically H1B dependents. So this one was done as a regulation by DHS. So because of that, there are a lot of lawsuits that actually were put up. So that's why they want to they want to get rid of. They want to make it as part of the Congress legislation so that there are no lawsuits and any of these issues. So that's the key point there. And other one is prevent age out of children. So this is especially where somebody who are under 21 applies for a green card and to continue to wait and they age out. Basically, they are not categorized as children anymore if they cross 21 years of age. So this one is a problem for many kids, and they lose the opportunity to get a green card. So there is CSPA, they call Child Status Protection Act, that is there, but still doesn't protect everybody. So they want to help fix this as well. Another one is regarding retaining US university graduates, especially in STEM categories, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So they don't really talk about specifics. They want to say that make it easier for STEM advanced degree holders to retain them, right? Again, it could be they don't have any details. There are speculations that no visa limits for them for PhD holders, but again there are no details as such. So we can it's up to Congress how to interpret these things, I would say. And again, they want to have a pilot program to stimulate regional economic development. So this is a program that we have in other countries where they want to stimulate regional economies, and they want to run some pilot programs to see how successful they can be to stimulate the economies. This is something that you see in Australia and other aspects. Now, the reality is, what's next, right? So as of now, there is no official bill number or official text yet. Yeah, this is very, very important for everybody. There is no official text of the bill available yet. What you have seen so far is actually the fact sheet and the details released by Biden administration, what they want to do with the immigration. Congress has to take this bill up. They will actually introduce this bill, and they will actually, come up with all the details of what has to go in and what will come out of this, right? It's very likely to be headed by Rep. Linda Sanchez from California. So she has been, in the news on this, and so very likely she'll head this bill. So we'll have to see what really comes out of it. Until we see the legislation text, we can't even tell what's going to happen, right? And this is a long process to go. It has to go through House, Senate. There will be amendments. There are a lot of steps involved. So we'll have to see if this makes it through in the first 2 years. Yeah. So this is a big reform that they plan to do, and that's what it is. So the reality reality is, this is a big wish list. I would say a laundry list of what Biden administration wants to do with immigration, but the reality might be very, very different because there are not a lot of things that are being considered in the recent years. They had a lot of challenges, so that's why the reality could be very, very different. Maybe some things may come out, some things may not come out. So the good part about this is Democrats control the House and Senate, so they prioritize what has to be taken up. So they have some control in that, right? So that will be good because in the past, one of the reasons they did not make it was never even on the calendar in some aspects, right? So this one now, because they control the House and Senate, they have some say on the agenda and the House committees and everything. So that's a good part. But what would make it and what would be left out is up to negotiation, because they don't have 60 votes in Senate and it's up to them, right? So so they don't have full majority. So that's what the bottom line is. So we'll have to wait and see how the whole thing pans out, and so we'll keep you updated on what's going to happen in the next upcoming months. I would say, hopefully there will be some positive things out of it. But this is very, very first cut, I would say. So take everything that you listen with a pinch of salt. Some of these things may completely change in the future, but we'll have to see what until we get the legislation text, we will not be able to tell what is actually up for voting here. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe to our channel for getting regular updates.